morning. Welcome to Investigator News. I'm your host, Ellie. Boy, we have got things ramping up down in Florida. They said uh, category 3, possibly a 4 by the time it gets to Florida coast. It's going to be obviously a big concern. Tornadoes will be imminent in South Florida, Central Florida, and then we're going to see power outages, maybe for maybe a day or so, and maybe a week or longer. It will move inland and southwest coast needs to watch this. It's a very big deal. And if it weakens a little bit, we're still talking storm surge. That's one of the biggest things that the local officials are concerned about is storm surge of 2 feet to even 15 feet in some areas. Um, um, they say you need to basically take this very serious. It's supposed to make landfall around Wednesday. If the track is correct, it could go a little faster or even a slower. If it does go slower, they are looking at major flooding and not only that with the storm surges. So you guys be very, very careful. And the recent evacuations are Pasco County, Pinellas County, Hillsborough County, Manatee County, Sarasota County, and Charlotte County. So if you're in these areas, they wish that you would evacuate or seek a very safe place to go to. And if you're staying in your homes, they prefer you not to, but make sure you're safe. Now, also, take care of your animals and make sure your animals are secure. If there's a way for you to take your animals with you, the authorities and officials are saying, please do. So, boy, what a weekend. Um, yesterday it was show after show after show, ABC, NBC, all of them, all had um, basically this nuclear thing. Now, why don't they just shut up? Huh, Karen? Karen, did you? I know you don't watch any of them, but boy, they were just going at it yesterday, and no wonder Putin's all upset. There was so much of nuclear talk that I can see where he feels pressured, and I even listened to Staphylopoulos, so I never get his name right. Um, but I listened to him, and it was like he was urging for us to go after Putin until the very end. And that was on Face the Nation. And there was quite a few other shows too that that's all they wanted to talk about is going all the way and taking Putin out. And I can't see it happening. Now, he put over 300 military members on the border. And that's what everybody's kind of getting all excited about is he's filling up his borders right now. Uh, and just when we thought there was a lull or he was backing out, because he did back out some of the ships um, out of um, I think it's a Black Sea that's in the south of Maripol. And they all thought he was running away and he was going to pull out and he was going to quit. But no, he pulled back. But then that's when he started building up the military on his borders. What's going to happen? We don't know. I think they're looking at Putin for first strike. But he says he's not going to be bullied, and if they keep pushing, that he might have to do a strike. The other thing was, I guess I'll get to it, is where we've delivered bigger missiles to Ukraine, which Putin did warn against. So, and then we had Zelensky was on CBS Face the Nation, interviewed that aired Sunday. Uh, and he was almost, I mean, he wanted to look sorrowful. Yes, he did. And how he was disgusted with the whole thing. But then he kind of boasted that Washington is providing him with a whopping 1.5 billion a month for state coffers as county piles up large wartime deficit. The United States gives us 1.5 billion every month to support our budget to the fight against Russia and the Ukraine leader explained. But he pointed out there remains a deficit of 5 billion in our budget. He immediately pivoted to repeating Kyiv's longtime complaint that it's not enough, but it's never enough. Though by and large, the common American taxpayer seems oblivious to the onslaught of the constant war headlines. Zelensky said afterwards, revealing the astonishing aid that he gets on a monthly basis. He said, but believe me, it's not even nearly enough to cover civilian infrastructure, schools, hospitals, universities, homes of Ukrainians. So why do we need this? We need the security in order to attract our Ukrainians to come back home. It's safe, and they will come and they will settle and they'll be back to work here. We will pay taxes and we won't have a deficit in our budget. So it'll be positive for everyone. But because of, as of today, the United States definitely, and we're happy about the $1.5 billion every month to support our fight for this war. And to me, he was boasting about it. Um, yeah, yeah, see, that's what I was saying, and then it was all nuclear talk. Yeah, 1.5 billion for schools and churches. I mean, how much does it cost to build a church or a school? And we're paying taxes on this. Are they going to pay us back? No. And then they're 5 billion more in debt. Why? This is why, folks. I've been saying I want to see something accountability of where this money's going to. If he's building churches and schools and that, where in what in Kyiv? Well, how many billions of dollars does it take to build Kyiv back up? And why would they if they're not even done with the war yet? So why do they need the money? And why would they build up something that is in the middle of a war area? They're all blown up. Not, but not all of the country is all blown up. It's just key cities, and a lot of it is on the eastern border. So are they rebuilding there? According to my reporters on the ground, nothing's being rebuilt. Everything's being blown apart. So if it's not on the eastern coast, then it would have to be Kyiv. So how many billions of dollars does Kyiv need? Huh? Huh? And it's not saying when asked, he didn't really answer the question. He moved on and changed the subject. So he's not willing to give us uh, all of the perks and the details of what this money is being spent on. I want to see the accountability for this. Um, but that's just me. That's me. A lot of people would say, "Who cares? Just give him what he wants. They need the help." The whole country is blown up, and they need schools for who's going to school, huh? And why should we pay for it? That's right. Why not wait till after it's all said and done and then figure out what needs to be fixed? Now, hospitals, I agree with the hospitals. I'll go for the hospitals, but not for 1.5 billion dollars a month. Was it billion or million? Billion for hospitals. Get them out of harm's way, get more ambulance, more transportation to get them to the hospitals. And who are they taking to the hospitals? Is it the military guys or is it a little bit of everybody? The dog's scared me. She's at my feet. Boy, I jumped. I forgot she was there. All right. So, um, um, we're these EV trucks. Oh boy. Now they're starting on the EV trucks, these F-150s. Now that everybody's starting to be forced to buy these, you can't tow with them. And now we're finding more and more of lightning. They say lightning towing capacity isn't there, and they did an experiment and it didn't go well. And we've heard about this before too, where they hooked up the F-150s and they put small empty trailers on the back of it, and it started losing miles. Um, and this is the same thing. According to the EV and Fords, they wanted to show that they could tow maximum tow capacity. And the first trip ended with a total disaster. And they said it did a whopping 32 miles. It lost 68 miles of range on a charge. So they say that this isn't going to work. And not only that, they're talking most trucks are four-wheel drive, and they use it way up in the mountains for camping or four-wheeling or stuff that people do for entertainment up in the hills. And they said, what happens if we get stuck? Who's going to tow us out? And if it's another vehicle, EV vehicle, it's not going to be able to tow us. The other one is the longevity of the battery. Of once they get up there, there's not going to be anywhere close to be able to recharge. So having fun with a truck, a Jeep, or any of these type of vehicles, off-road vehicles, isn't going to be much fun anymore, according to this gentleman that ran this test. So he said, what a joke, man. What a joke. Uh, you know, he needs to let some of these climate people know. And, even what gets me is these global climate are terrified this morning. And I'm like, yay, finally. They're terrified over who? Just a little old woman in Italy that agrees like the rest of us, but for her own country, the prime minister. And she made it in, and they called her a fascist for this. And I said, whoa, put on the brakes, put on the brakes. Because you know who claimed to be Marxists and fascists? Black Lives Matter. Why didn't the media and our politicians hate them? Why didn't they go after them if they're fascists and Marxism? See, it was okay when it was Black Lives Matter, but now they want to call us and this prime minister fascist. So, boy, they can't even keep their name calling straight now. They can't keep their lies straight. And the thing about with these globalists, and even going back over to Zelensky and this nuclear thing, all these people have lied to us. I mean, think about it. The news media has lied to us. The politicians, the Department of Justice, the State Department, even Pentagon officials, they've all lied. So why do we even believe them anymore? Especially over giving 1.5 billion to Zelensky. I don't, anymore. I don't even believe them on anything with Ukraine because they've lied so much. And they keep getting caught in their lies, especially Joe Biden. And I hate to flip it on Friday. I did have a show for corruption files, but I've been finding a lot of stuff on Joe Biden. And I think Friday corruption show is going to be the life of Joe Biden to show you guys that he has been a lying fool since high school, probably. Even lied about his first wife in her car accident. So, I mean, why do we even believe these guys, even the globalists anymore? It's all the same people in the same boat: Soros, Schwab, Biden, the Clintons, and many other world leaders. And boy, they just got a jolt to their little manhood. Heck, even Hillary had to pull up her man pants. This just totally sent her for a loop. That the globalists aren't getting their way. And this lady over there, she went at it for the crime, for the cost of living, that things aren't affordable, and the people voted her in, and that's what it's going to take here. Exactly, the crime rate. Now, if you guys, I think it was McCarthy, that he has got a plan that's listed on the internet, and boy, I tell you, folks, it's hard. It's a lot of pages, and you get like links to other things that show things. It's kind of hard. I'm slowly going through it, and why don't they just come out and say it? Why put it all on a piece on papers and put it on a website for people to read? You get out there and you tell the American people, like this woman did over in Italy, and tell the people how it is and what they plan on doing. We shouldn't have to go to a site. Um, and not only that, but they don't even want to debate anymore. The Democrats don't. They're trying to get away with debating. Why? Because they'll do just like they do now, where they want to get up in front of the podium and they're going to tell you exactly how it is. And then no one to say, wait a minute, you just lied. Or no, what about these certain criterias, like crime rate and the cost of food cost, and nail them on it. No, they don't even want to debate. They just want to tell you the lies that they spin. Um, Boy, so hats off and a salute to that the young gal over there in Italy. She's gonna uh, be a great asset to the global leaders when we start taking our countries back. That's okay. VA is more important, I think. So the wind farm, oh boy, we're seeing these more and more because of the ones that they put in 2015 and 14 and 13. Guess what? These wind farm, they're starting to throw blades all over the place. And now I told you about this last week that one of the wind farms had thrown it and it just about hit a house and it's stuck in the field. I'd be out there, I'd be running for cover on this. And so now we have another wind farm or wind farms that are now having the same issues. All of them are facing shutdown as parts are flying off the turbines. And the other reason why they're flying off the turbines is when they're spinning a certain speed, and then the winds build up and the winds blow through out of the blue. It knocks them off their kilter and it throws these blades all over the place. Oh boy. So this isn't just happening um, uh, here. It's now they're starting to notice all of their wind turbines in Norway. And so they were really depending on this. And now they're looking at um, now they have to replace them. So now they have to look at their own people for billions of dollars to replace these things. And not only that, but they said the cost of cleaning these things up and putting others back into place is another cost. There's a cleanup cost and disposal cost. So it's going to run into the millions to and billions to be able to replace these. And so not only when one or two fall apart, then they're looking at the other ones and they're just as loose and as hazardous of maybe coming apart and throwing these fan blades all over the place. Um, so in Norway, there's clear regulations for how the wind parks can operate, and they said they have been doing everything. They've looked into safety, they've looked into environmental impact and local community, but now they're really unsure um, that who's going to be responsible when these things break down and they start hurting people or destroying property. And they said the government action is in response to take complaints. Uh, they're going to look at the root cause of it, I guess. Um, um, you think, well, yeah, I did. He did address it. Now, Karen, do you know why he did that? Because he accidentally put the plan on Twitter, and he had to quickly remove it. And I guess I heard there was some names on there that weren't supposed to be seen. And so what they did is they quickly came out and gave everybody their plan. Um, to me, McCarthy is okay to give the plan, but it's going to be up to the individual politician to say what their plan would be for each individual state, because every state's different. Every state has their own needs. One may need schools more than they need the hospitals, or an increase of spending to the border. The border states would be needing money for the border, where us in the center states would need it for other things. So, um, aircraft propellers only last a few thousand hours before failures. These they say last 5 to 8 years. So these in Norway, I believe they said made 6. So, and they've been putting them up since 2013. So if you're looking at, let's say, 8 years, last year they expired. So how many have fallen apart that they didn't tell us about, or the states aren't coming forward to say anything? And when I flew from California, I'm back on the airplane to come back here just about almost a year ago now. I seen some of those wind farms, and what was odd was there was like a field of them, and half the field had the running ones, and half the field had like broken ones laying all over the place. So I think they were in the midst of replacing them. But how many millions and billions of dollars is it going to cost each state to replace these every 6 to 8 years? So every other term of a president, we're going to be looking at replacing these things all over again. And not only that, but they need 5 states to move. Everybody out, move, because we need 5 states. Which ones are going to volunteer to put up the solar panels? And then they're going to line our coast and beaches with these generators. And you know what they're going to do? They're going to kick us all off the beach. They're not going to want us out there, because they're going to probably put them close into the beach and land as they possibly can. You're not sure about Oz? Well, he's better than the other guy. You have to kind of flip a coin on the two evils on some of these states. Do you go for this person, or do you go for that one? Isn't it Fitterman? Isn't he the one running against Oz? Or am I in the wrong state? Who's running against Oz? The only thing to do, Karen, is call up his campaign office and start asking questions. Then you really know. Then you know. Because those people will either say, well, we'll have them call you back, or they'll put you in touch with the office assistant usually, and they can answer your questions, but come up with some sticklers on them. Don't let them get away with it. You know, he's a globalist. Ah, ah. He's like Gates, huh? Huh. Yeah, Fetterman is a bad deal. Yeah, that's another one. Um, so is Joe Biden. Somebody voted for him. I didn't. Uh, we need to get these people that voted for some of these people and give them 50 lashes. I swear. Um, uh, so Oz is a globalist, huh? Well, call and ask. Confront him on it. Ask, hey, are you going to sell us out to the reset? You know, are you going to are you into the socialism and the socialist reset of the country, and you want to have a one world nation. Ask them the tough ones, because more than likely they'll either hang up on you, or they're going to try to answer as best they can, and you'll get a real good answer for it. Um, um, I feel bad for some of these states because they really don't have two really good, strong candidates, either side. Uh, you look at oh my goodness, down in Georgia, because Abrams is running again. I mean, how did she get back in there? But does the Democrats really want her? Because they all turned on her on the last time, and now she's going to run again. It's like Hillary. Hillary wants to run real bad, but she knows people not going to vote for her. Uh, yeah, put pressure on Oz about caring for America. That's a great idea. The more you get people to call in and start questioning his globalist traits, the less likely he's going to want to go that direction. And not only that, call up the Karen. You're on Facebook. Get a hold of Donald Trump Jr. and put a thing on his page about it. Just one of his comments say, Oz is a globalist. What are you going to do about it? And he reads them. He goes, I have to say that the Trump kids read their comments and their emails, and which is shocking, because you'd think they get so many that they would be overwhelmed in it, but they are reading a lot of their comments and a lot of their emails. Um, yeah, I don't like the ones that don't live in the state. Look at old Maxine Waters with Skid Row. She lives in Washington. She don't live on Skid Row. She don't even live close to Skid Row. But not only that, but Schiff is even down there, real close to where LA is and how horrible it is down there. Boy, that wasn't me. I'm going to be singing that song, It Wasn't Me. The dog is in here coughing. So she was out there chewing up something in the yard I caught her doing. So she's in here now coughing because I guess she's got something stuck there. Anyway, I'm going to shoo her out here in a second if she don't stop it. Uh, so now gas prices, folks, uh, they're rising again, and just in time for November to come around, and they say it's going to skyrocket to painful, uh, painful new heights. And the response from Washington is, but we all knew we were going to go through some pain. Well, I don't want to go through the pain of gas prices. Um, this, oh boy. So, in fact, get this, as of this morning in Portland, Oregon, one station is already jumped up to $6.27 a gallon. And Portland, so it's going to go up approximately, they say, if it went up there, it was about 28 cents a gallon. So look forward to the next day, to the next I'm going to say next 2 weeks of the gas going back up again about 28 cents a gallon. And then they say, then it comes the next one. The next hike is probably going to be about the same. So we're going to be looking, if Portland's at 6, California will be about the same. So the rest of the country will probably be about $5.50 a gallon. Well, why pain? No need for it. That's it. We don't need the pain. We need them to endure the pain with us. That's what we need. Now, China brought home, and they say, 162 nuclear scientists. And I know I did this last week, but I wanted to remind you guys about these guys because they got all the info they needed here, and now they're giving it and using it over in China. And these are nuclear scientists. And these are basically spies. They got caught um, getting information and technology and nuclear information that they didn't need to get. And so now we, of course, sent them home, and now they have all the information they say they need to do um, many wonderful things in China. Oh boy. Um, this one here, I really I got a chuckle out of this morning because the FBI caught another a major corruption scandal, and this time um, they lied to the judge and got caught. So it's one thing to lie to Congress; it's another when you start lying to a judge and get caught, because then you have to go before this judge once again, and of course it's all over this corruption. And um, it's a new report that based on unsealed documents that was revealed that the bureau misled the judge over a warrant order to seize tens of millions of dollars of valuables without any cause. Um, they say what it's doing is they have basically been stealing more than 86 million in cash and other valuables from ordinary American safety deposit boxes. And um, in total, basically, it was gold, silver, jewelry was taken by federal government from over 1,400 safety deposit boxes under the guise of being connected to crimes. And so 18 months later, now that it's all going before the judge, the FBI and the U.S. Attorney's Office in Los Angeles got their warrant for that raid, and it was misleading to the judge that approved it. They omitted their warrant request, a central part of the FBI's plan of permanent confiscation of everything inside the box containing at least 5,000 in cash or goods. The problem is they went through everybody's boxes and took everything, not just one that was box owners of those who were tied to known crimes. So there were box holders, hundreds of them, they say, um, that basically um, were basically tied to no crimes, no court records. In fact, some of them were grandmas that had never committed a crime. And they took all of her belongings out of her safety deposit boxes. So, folks, be very, very careful. So now the judge is going to go after him, but this is just for LA. Now think of what they're doing across the nation. As we see, I noticed in California they had the Fed auctions where they have cars and boats and all kinds of luxury items that they sell kind of cheap. And you know how many of those were wrongly taken from innocent people just because, you know, uh, like the safety deposit boxes where they went in and they took the jewelry and cash and anything in there that was worth $5,000 or more. So guess what? They don't get it back. It was a permanent confiscation, is what it was, and this judge approved of it. Well, now the judge is found differently, and so if they have already auctioned this stuff off, how do they get it back? And this is going to be going through that, what they say, 1,400 safety deposit boxes that they went through, and they said at least half never should have been touched. So the FBI got caught, and Ray, of course, was doing the double talk, trying to say, oh, we didn't know, we didn't understand, and, it wasn't like that. And this was, just like what they're doing to Trump. How much of it did they confiscate that's not going to be returned? And it took days for the agents to fill up evidence bags with this bounty. And they said there was even rare coins. There was jewelry that is hundreds of years old that family members have held on to give to the next generation. The judge was not told of the plan when he issued the warrant, as far as they can tell. Um, and what crimes had been committed? What evidence did they have to properly, to basically take the property in the boxes? Um, and was it illegitimate or was it legitimate actually means to do it? Apparently, there was an investigation to the U.S. private vaults, which rented out the boxes, but the dots were never connected to those who had their stuff in boxes, yet assets were seized away. The Department of Justice was also involved in this, as the FBI was working directly with the U.S. Attorney's Office in Los Angeles. I think that's Garcia that's part of that, and he's bad crooked. Um, so they have attempted to hide behind administrative procedures, and then they got caught red-handed. So, what's their excuse? They claimed they were under no obligation to tell the judge what their plan was, and they only needed to provide him with probable cause. So, I guess the court system has something to say about that. And the judge is going to was going to sign the warrant, whether the FBI is just going to steal nearly from the bystanders. And obviously, this isn't surprising. But now the judge has had a change of heart, and now he wants to know what was taken and how many of them, to in order to keep anything at this point, they have to show the cause of why they took it and the crime they committed. So, boy, I tell you, FBI definitely needs to be stopped. They've just gone totally rogue, um, uh, just beyond rogue. They're just ripping people off at this point. And when it said in the law, if they go rogue, that we have a right to uh, take out their this um, uh, I don't want to say organization, this part of the government. If it goes rogue under law and the Constitution, we're allowed to dissolve. There you go. We're dissolve this department until they can investigate it. So the judge is under no obligation to issue the warrant. That's right. Um, so, well, I don't say the judge is to blame because Karen, he was lied to. I mean, think about it. The FBI went in there, and usually it's the bigger guys, like the Comey kind of guys that go in, and if they lie to him, and he's thinking, okay, these are really hardened criminals, and they stole all this stuff. Yeah, he's going to sign that warrant, and they're going to go in and they're going to take everything out. Well, the problem is I believe that the banking institute was the one that said, no, this wasn't right. There was too many people in there that didn't do nothing. And so now it's being looked at. And I'm glad it is. So it really wasn't, it's not really the judge is to blame. It's going to come out on Ray, is going to be the one responsible for it because he's the one that authorized it and then never did anything about it or even a follow up and look into it. Mm. Well, he read it, but it was deceitful. See, that's the whole thing. It's just like these FISA courts. When they did with Trump, they went in and they said, "Oh, we need to be able to listen in on him and his family, on all of his electronics." Well, they were saying, because of Russia, and he's talking to Russia a lot. And so the judge did sign it off. Well, what they didn't tell the judge was in the small print um, of the order was that they were going to spy on all of us. It was a means to crack the whole um, being able to listen in on our conversations, and that was during 4G, and then it moved to 5G. But they didn't tell the judge then either. And then so now it comes back, and like they said, the judge should have read it. But when it's omitted until after he signs it, and then they say, oh, yeah, now we're going to pencil whip this one in. That's what they do. They do that all the time, Karen. And it's that's what really gets me. Because if you were to get into a court of law like what we're used to, in some of these normal courts, they would have put them in jail. They would have definitely arrested the police officers and put them in jail for falsifying documents and a hefty punishment. So, so they got caught. They got caught. Thank goodness they're finally getting caught in this stuff. Um, the narrative on gas or on fossil fuels, it's changing again. Oh boy, this is what the fourth thing they've changed it to. It was Trump, and then it was um, the pandemic, and then it was Trump again. Then it was Putin. Then it was Russia, and then it was Putin cutting everybody off, and the gas cost. Now, guess what? Now they're blaming the gas prices that they're going to have to put them up, and a surge in gas prices due to Hurricane Ian. Yep, this hurricane is going to cause everybody's gas to go up all the way across the country because of its destructive uh, use and the amount of gas for the people to get out of Florida. So, yep. U.S. is reserving visa at this point now, and this was signed as a bill, um, almost like an executive order by Biden, that only for right now, mostly Muslim immigrants are going to be allowed visas at this point. So and to me that sounded like an Obama thing because that's where he gave a lot of his visas to was the Muslim immigrants. Now, Joe Biden, we've seen a lot of them coming out of Africa that he did, and then now he's adjusting them to officially give the visas mostly to Muslim immigrants for work and not Americans. The other thing that's going on is a lot of the schools and businesses and union jobs and state and federal jobs. They're now, as far as women go, if you're not transgender, they're not going to be looking at you either. So this was all under, I believe, the same bill. So, boy. So the Muslims are going to be able to get it after we went through all that with the Afghanistans. I'm thinking this is where this is going to go. The article really didn't say. They just said that he wrote it in and that it was only fair because they have been overlooked over the last few years to the other immigrants coming into the country, and that they have been kind of lost in the shuffle. So now they would like to get them back on track and get as many of these Muslim immigrants into the country to where they could work. So, yeah, it's those two dogs. It was like in my neighborhood yesterday. I've been losing my mail being delivered for I think 3 days now because we have loose dogs. It's the neighbor's dogs. It keeps getting out, and the landlord, I think, was over there. The postmaster was over there, and the poor little girl that delivers the mail is running away from the dogs and jumping in her truck. And they chase her too. They've been chasing the kids. So, all right. So I don't want to get too far off of the news here. Um, um, The Dow officially enters a bear market, and it dropped 4,000 points the other day. I can't remember what day it was, but I seen it, and it was like, oh, that's got to be a glitch. Maybe it's only 400, but no. And then early this morning, they officially entered the bear market. And they say that it doesn't look good and it doesn't look like they're going to be coming out of the bear market anytime soon. So now more than likely we'll hear about the S&P and a few others. Now we're looking at a lot of these big stock CEO guys. They're now starting to take a hard look because Biden used to be their buddy. Now he's not so much of the buddy because of why? Klaus Schwab has said that the stock market has to come down, and as well as China and Russia, anywhere that has a stock market, they all must fall um, to the bottom for us to build back better. So I don't know if he's going to get these stock CEOs to go broke and then start over again. I don't think he's gonna. I don't think anybody's going to get these guys to do that. Um, oh boy. Now, the newest thing out of the blue, and especially right during the war, is Putin granted Snowden Russian citizenship. He's been asking for it. I seen him do a conference or a talk to some college students about a year ago, and he was not. He didn't know what he was going to do. He said he would like to come back to the United States, but there's just no way that's going to happen. And he was wanting Putin to grant him citizenship, but uh, he said he was hitting a lot of red tape because of what he had done um, with the secrets and with Julian Assange and that group there. So uh, I guess they have had many meetings, Snowden with the officials for the citizenship, and they have now decided to go ahead and give and grant him this citizenship to Russia, which means he's got to stay over there. I know he wants to come back here, but maybe it's best he stays there. Um, William, Ukraine confirms receipt of longer range missiles, and it's basically been trying to get the United States to send them. Well, they just now got it, probably with their money too. I'm all bent about that 1.5 billion. Um, they said they have to take all this serious, and he's now boasting his country has received new advanced U.S. missile system. And see, I told you he was boasting about this was on Face the Nation, and he said they were urgently needing these the transfer of the NASAA NASAMS this early this summer, but the Biden administration reluctantly didn't want to provide missile system with longer range. They were concerned that they would be used to strike inside of Russian territory. And so they did not really do it. But now the weapons are going to be delivered, and Ukrainian officials basically are boasting now the missile defense system known as NASAMS is basically given to them, and they can hit targets more than 100 miles away, and they'll likely need to be trained on these systems. And so they are a lot of Russia, and not only that, but even EU, Germany, and others. They said they no longer enough of a concern to halt these long range systems, despite the Kremlin repeatedly warning the attacks on its territory would be very severe on a red line. The Biden administration approved the shipment of 6 missile systems as part of the nearly $3 billion in lethal and aid package to bolster Kyiv as it battles the Kremlin invasion. So yeah, we just went ahead and gave it to him. And he was boasting. I told you he was boasting yesterday. It kind of was making me sick looking at him. Um, um, the the Infrastructure Reduction Act. At the last minute, Nancy Pelosi threw in billions in reparations for black farmers only. It was supposed to be, it was listed as farmers that have lost, either lost financially or by the pandemic or other reasons during this time that they could have reparations. Well, they went ahead and just signed it in for only black farmers. And this was put in the last minute. It was Democrats shuffled in billions for this in the Infrastructure Act package. So, and boy, right below it, Nancy Pelosi gets booed in New York Music Festival. I don't know if you guys heard it. I heard it, and I was cracking up. And then she went on to tell them about the Green New Deal and how the pain and the suffering that everybody was enduring would be worth it once the Build Back Better was put into place. So, um, and during the one thing I forgot to tell you last week, during the UN meetings, the UN chief, he called for energy taxes that midst of the global energy crisis right now. That every country needs to do a hefty type of tax that would be part of the UN. Um, um, to go towards global energy and the upkeep on the panels and other, not only the panels, the wind generators, but to pay people to keep track of what's going on. Also, that the World Economic Forum would need their fair share also. Boy, just when we were giving billions to Ukraine, now we're going to give probably the same amount. It's going to go up on our taxes to give to the UN for everybody else in this Green New Deal. This new Green Deal, how did this ever just get pushed? Because everybody was so against it when Biden first went in office and before. It was like, oh, no way, no green thing. Now it's like everybody's best buddy as long as it's called an Infrastructure Act. No, I don't think so. Um, Not only that, but guess what? The DHS funds, they are now creating many offices all over the United States to study the radicalization of white supremacy per state. And they're going to pay, it's probably 10 to 20 employees, and they're going to pay them very well to do this study. And the study, they said, could last close to 10 years. Uh, um, um, Now Maduro, down in Venezuela, he's boasting, and he says he can't believe it. He cannot believe the flow of immigrants coming back to Venezuela and El Salvador and quite a few of the countries down there. 60% of the Venezuelan migrants and those from other countries have now come back. And get this, the approval rating of Biden this morning. I took a look at it, and the polls showed that about 78% of the country, that's all of us, every one of us, even the Democrats and independents, 78% of the country is not happy with him and don't think he needs to be in office any longer. And you give or take a few points. And so when I did it for mine, it came out to 83% of the country doesn't think he's doing a good job and thinks he needs to step down. So it's now getting out. The Republicans are sounding the alarm. How good is it going to do to the DOJ and the State Department and also the Biden administration of Chinese government linked to farms in South Dakota, for one, but all over the country, and they want them to do something about it. And at this point, they're basically the alarm over this or the paperwork on it is being ignored. And they just like they do everything else. So they're involved in this, getting Chinese to buy property all over the United States. Um, Social Security benefits. I know a lot of us are on that, the disability or the retirement. It went up 8% last year. They say it could, as far as the numbers go right now, and they can change at any time, is going to go up about 11%. So we're going to get a couple more pennies. I don't know about y'all, but um, during Democrat years, I would only get a 1 to 2 cent increase. And it's like I would get this notification in the mail that said, "Oh, you're going to get 2 cent raise this year." And I'm like, "Oh yeah, what's that going to buy?" So what is it going to be? Maybe 10 cents more. I hope it's more than that. Now, during the Trump administration, we got a quarter. On all the years he was in, he put it up to a quarter. It ain't much, but um, at least he put it up more than a penny. So, um, now yesterday, I hate going over press conferences, but yesterday was pretty interesting, and it popped up, and I thought, I wonder if this is clickbait, but it wasn't. Dosey asked the press secretary about the crime rate. And she basically has said that Biden has put a lot of money into it, and he has put a lot into it to make the cops be able to do their job better, and said that there is enough funding and enough police in every city that has crime rates really high for the police to go out and do something. They just don't want to do it. I thought they cut it. That's what I was told. They had cut the spending to the police departments. Defund the police is what it was called. She tried to deny it yesterday, but Dosey wasn't going to let her get away with this. And so when he kept questioning her, and she was basically boasting what a good job he's done, that he has put a curb into the crime rate, that he had basically had put in all the funding that could possibly be used for the cities, and it's up to the cities or the states to use it in a way that it works out for the American people. And if it wasn't, then it's on the state, not the federal government. It's all green religion of power. That's right. And so once again, if you're joining us and you didn't know what counties are being evacuated in Florida, if you're not there, maybe you have friends or family that's down there. Uh, it's Pasco County, Pinellas County, Hillsborough County, Manatee County, I'm sorry, Sarasota County, and Charlotte County. And find a safe place for your animals, folks. And if you don't have to stay there, leave. Um, and so that is it for today's show. There is no show tonight. There is me and William will be back tomorrow. And from the sounds of the way Ukraine and Russia is going, there's going to be a lot of news on it as China sits quietly and I think tortures poor Taiwan with military maneuvers to show how big and bad they are. And everything's kind of starting to ramp up in Israel also. So it's probably going to be like last week where we're going to go country to country, war to war. So with that, please subscribe and hit the like button, hit that bell. definitely the like button and share. Um, Over in Facebook, hit the follow and the like button. And of course, we appreciate all of our viewers and we thank you for watching and the support that you give me every day. That you come in here and you show up and you listen to Ellie to just go on and on and on, huh? Good news, though, good news. And it's been excellent news over the last few weeks. And the morning show becoming more and more popular. Um, so I thank you from the bottom of my heart and of all the support you give me. So with that, you guys have a wonderful Tuesday, and we will see you tomorrow morning, bright and early for the morning weather show. Bye-bye, folks.